Well, it's like I'm not surprised, but to me, I think the more important picture is that we have a colleague in the Senate that actually did much more sinister and serious kinds of things. Senator Menendez, he needs to go. And if you are going to expel Santos, how can you allow to somebody like Menendez to remain in the Senate? And Santos's kind of lies were almost funny, and like he landed on the moon and that kind of stuff. Whereas I think Menendez is really a senator for Egypt, not New Jersey. So I really think he needs to go. And especially, it's kind of strange that if Santos is not allowed to remain in the House, someone like that. Yeah.
Are you though?
Hey there, guys. Welcome to the channel. So I just did a video, man, just a few hours ago, talking about Democrats abandoning Joe Biden basically daily, right? And I have another amazing clip for you. And there's a couple amazing lessons to learn in this clip. The first, who knew, man, that when a rabid, progressive, lifelong progressive Democrat recovers from a near deadly, debilitating stroke, they actually start thinking, sounding, and apparently even acting reasonable. And another lesson learned from this clip, I think it's a pretty funny one. When other Democrats hear them actually acting reasonable, sounding reasonable, they think they've become a conservative. They think that anyone who shows any ability to critically think is now a conservative. That's pretty damn funny when you think about it. Now, obviously, what I'm talking about, actually, it's not obvious. It's crazy. What I'm talking about is the awakening and recovery from stroke and progressivism of John Fetterman, of all people, John Fetterman. I'm actually completely and totally impressed. I would have never, ever seen this coming. But guys, before I show it to you, if you're enjoying this content, if you believe in this message, guys, please help us to grow. Going into 2024, man, it's getting harder and harder to get conservative voices heard. And, we're all together. We're on the front lines of conservatism together. So please like, comment, subscribe. Most importantly, share the channel. I really do appreciate all the support, and it does mean a lot. So, all right. So I'll be the first to admit, that I have not been kind to John Fetterman. I thought that the Democratic Party, really honestly, and I still think this, they completely used the guy. They showed complete and total disregard for his health, for his family, and they just used him, man, to consolidate power, to get power. But I'm also able to admit that I wasn't totally right about the guy. Ever since he's had his, mental hospital stay and started working on himself, the guy is a different person, a different human, man. All liberals, please, if you're watching this video and you're a liberal, all liberals out there should book a consultation with John Fetterman's doctors at Walter Reed, because the man has gone from being probably the most progressive person in the Senate to actually thinking for himself.
People have given me hope for the country. Yeah. Bill Maher, who is a liberal. He's never going to vote for a Republican. I get it. Yeah. But he loves the country. Yep. And the way he breaks down the support for Israel and the way he is concerned about the border and the idea of what's happening in our cities and the lack of crime and punishment. There's no punishment with crime. That bothers him. And yet Democrats seem to be running from that. They never bring it up. And Senator Fetterman is the other one that gives me hope.
Yeah, it's weird to see this transition, because I find myself every single week retweeting something that Fetterman has said. And there's been, I followed his race, and he was somewhat of a progressive squad member, but just doesn't like what's happening at the border. He's been very supportive of Israel. So the Fetterman did an interview with the New York Times, and he's claiming that both parties are rooting against him. This is what he said. There are ones that are rooting for another blood clot. Oh. They have both now been wishing that I die.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting what has happened with John Fetterman, because throughout his political career, and of course we covered the Senate race very closely. It was extremely important. He was so progressive. I mean, he was a progressive.
Changed.
Yeah.
He changed.
But, Pennsylvania's a swing state, so maybe he's listening to the whole of the state as opposed to the area that he was representing as a local politician. And he's spoken out against Senator Menendez. He says that he has strong support for Israel, not the Palestinian side. Yeah, and also the border. He just came out and said that we need to do something on the border. There's another New York Times quote that we have, and he says, it's it's just a place where I'm not, meaning the progressive side. I don't feel like I've left the progressive label. It's just more that it's left me. I'm not critical. If someone is a progressive, I just believe in different things. How fascinating is this?
I think he has left the progressive side. And, I'm so grateful that he was able to recover. But something changed in the middle of his recovery, him going to therapy and everything. When he reemerged, his comments seem to have changed. And look, we've been reaching out. I've been reaching out to his people. I would love to talk to him because I'm just curious of what changed in the party.
Talked to Selena Zito, who's a conservative columnist in the area, and she said that he gave him a great interview. He gave her a great interview. Tommy Lahren of Outkick, also as conservative as it gets, sees something different with Fetterman. Watch.
A lot of folks are saying that he's sounding like a conservative or he's sounding like a Republican. I don't think so. I think he's sounding like a moderate Democrat or maybe just a good American that believes we should have a secure border, a good American who believes that we should support really our only ally in the Middle East and condemn terrorism and condemn those that say from the river to the sea. So I don't think what he's saying is necessarily conservative or Republican in nature. I think it's just common sense. And the left has gone so wacky, so woke, so ridiculous that they think now that this makes him a conservative. So good for him for rejecting the label. Good for him for being independent minded.
Yeah, so certainly not conservative, but definitely not as progressive as he once was. Like I said, I think it's just him listening to the whole of the state. Pennsylvania is certainly not progressive, so he's listening to his constituents, which is what a lawmaker should do.
I also don't think the guy likes being bullied. I mean, it seems like members of the party has continued to come after him, protest in front of him, just for having moderate views. There was once a period of time where Democrats as a whole stood with the nation of Israel. And that hasn't changed. So they're trying to bully his position. And I don't think he takes too kindly to
a little bit of a divide in the House. We know that with the Senate, with Israel and other things. Now there's going to be a divide somewhat in the Senate. Sinema is broken away. He's actually an independent. Joe Manchin, for the few years he has left, he has always bucked the party to a degree. And now you have Senator Fetterman, who might be tough to categorize.
Yeah, guys, you see that. When John Fedderman is supporting Israel, voicing concern for a broken border, which everybody should be concerned about it, and even talking out against Democrat corruption with Gold Bar Bob, saying that it doesn't make sense to move against Congressman Santos and leave Gold Bar Bob Menendez alone. And he's right. I mean, you can't argue with that. But guys, even Tommy, like Tommy Lahren said, these are not ideas that make you a conservative. These are not ideas that make you a Republican. Border, Israel, precedent, these are just common sense standings, common sense principles, common sense ideas. And she's right when she said that, this is really more of a lesson on the left. They are so incredibly insane. They're so crazy that a guy daring to say that we should stand with a country fighting terrorism makes him the next right-wing extremist. It's insane. But anyway, pretty fascinating stuff to watch. I thought you'd appreciate that. That's all I've got, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you haven't already, please like, comment, subscribe. Most importantly, share the channel. And we'll see you in the next one.